Hey guys, how's it going? So I got a new stereo the other day, and there it is. It Bluetooths to my phone. Just letting it turn on. There we go. It's not very impressive, but hey, it gets the job done. And then I don't have to have a Bluetooth transmitter over there. So anyway, something really weird when I was trying to get that stereo, the old stereo, out was that it was almost impossible to remove. So I figured I'd make this video to, I don't know, as a tutorial to how to get the stereo out of an old Pace-Aero RV, or if you find another stereo that has this similar kind of configuration, it might help you. So here's a random video of how to take out your stereo. So here's the original stereo. I've made this really shitty mock-up of what the dashboard looks like because I'm not going to put it back in just so I can take it out. So usually you have the little metal things that you put in to pop it out, but there was nothing. There's absolutely nothing anywhere. This is kind of popped out because I didn't screw it on all the way. But yeah, there's nothing anywhere to suggest that there is something that you would slide anything into, and it's a fairly old stereo, but you would still think there would be something. So after pulling back the panel as far as it would go, because it was about here, I pulled back the panel as far as it would go, and I'm looking behind it, and there's just a fuckload of wires, not just here, but there's, you know, all of the things that go into the different things of the dashboard. So I finally started taking the knobs off. So basically, you take the knobs off, and there's the, you know, you might have different knobs, but there's 4 different knobs. And then I noticed there is a nut. I noticed a nut there. Now, something other peculiar that I figured I might be able to just pull it out if I yank it enough. Well, there are these clips. These genius clips, if you can see, where it doesn't matter what you do, the stereo is not coming out. So there was that to deal with. These giant clips keeping it on both sides onto the dashboard. So basically, once you figure it out, it's pretty simple. You just undo these 2 little nuts, and there's a washer behind each nut. And lucky for me, they weren't tight at all, so I'm basically doing exactly what I did in the first place. I just used my fingers to get the nuts off. And then we take the 2 little washers off, and voila, the faceplate comes off. But it is still attached. Well, that's because there's also nuts there too to hold that plate on. It's actually really impressive. I've never seen a stereo bolted and screwed and tightened to the dashboard as much as this one. So we'll just wiggle these nuts off and take off their washers. Okay, now that we got that all off, once I did that, the stereo immediately came away from the dashboard. So, and I couldn't remove the dashboard, so I had to keep moving it forward, like peeling it back. So first I will show you this ingenious bit. So this part would not come out of the dashboard. That's because there are these clips here, these crazy clips that can only be taken off if you get a pair of pliers, squeeze it, and wiggle it out. So you take 2 of them off, and then you're able to move one side out and lift the other side out of the dashboard. And these clips are relatively easy just to push back in. They're made to where you can just line them up and then push them right back through. So now the stereo, there was another problem. So these obviously now just slide right off, no big deal. But there was a long strip of metal that was screwed to this in the back of the stereo. Now I've seen this before, but there was a long strip of metal screwed to this. So I had to get a ratchet back there because this was tight, and I unscrewed it and pulled the stereo away. And there it is. There's the stereo without all of its stuff on. Also, the top of the stereo had a wiring diagram, and luckily the new stereo I have that uses the exact same colors. Now I know what you're gonna thinking, well they all supposed to. Well, not all stereos use the exact same colors for the same speakers. So it was really easy for me to just wire it all up. But here's the wiring diagram. So yeah, old Clarion 1700RT high powered. So yeah, it was a good stereo. I didn't really need a new stereo, but I got one anyway. This was a hell of an ordeal to get out, and I'm wondering why so much security for, I mean, at the time I don't even think this was a top of the line stereo. I mean, it's a good stereo, but I don't think it was ever top of the line. But either way, that is how you get the stereo out of an old 86 Pace Aero RV. And like I said, I have seen stereos before with these long volume controls like this, so I would assume that that's how they're connected as well. But I personally, and I'm quite versed with car stereos, but I guess not enough because I've never seen this much security for any car stereo ever. And it is very simple to put back together if you want to save it for something. But I fought with that dashboard for about an hour before I finally decided, why don't I just take the volume buttons off and see what's underneath? And sure enough, that's where the money was. So there we go, guys. That's how you remove and then, I guess, reverse these steps, and that's how you install a crazy stereo with this crazy setup. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope it helped someone, and I'll catch you later.